Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's live stream. It is question time. It is Wednesday, and if you don't know what that means, every Wednesday we do a AMA where you can ask me anything you want and I'll answer as many questions as I can in the time we have. And there could be about game development, Unreal Engine 4, bug fixing, anything you want to know and ask, we are here to answer. So bear with me, I do currently have a brand new setup. So I've just got a brand new PC, and now my old laptop PC thing is handling the streaming, and the main PC is handling the Unreal. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I've set this all up correctly and it works. And you can hear me okay, see me okay, and everything else. Also got a brand new camera. Hello, new camera. So overall, we should have a better quality experience. So yeah, I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, it would help if I actually made the room public for people to see before I start the stream. But so apologies for this slight delay in starting. If you don't know, if you're a Patreon member, you get access to the special question time queue jump, which is in Discord. In that channel, you can ask your questions ahead of time. So if you can't make the live stream where it is live, you can always catch it up later and see your questions being answered. That's another benefit of being a Patreon member. So that's how we're going to start off today. We're going to start with a few things. I can see we've got a few people in chat already. So hello there. We've got Unit Jinx, Reinstall. Hello, Zach. How are we all doing tonight? Hopefully everyone's all well. Yeah, thanks. So it literally just been set up today and last night. So it's been a day of it. Trying to get it all sorted out. But yeah. I'll show you some cool stuff with it in a second. Okay, so let's just jump straight in. I need to organize myself a bit here because I've got 2 keyboards and everything. Okay, so jump into hello, it works. Okay, so yeah, brand new PC. Look how clean my desktop is. And my new wallpaper. I think things a bit tidy for myself now. I've got an actual desk space with actual room on it. I've actually got room on it. Great. Anyway, enough of me stressing over my setup here. All I'm missing now is a keyboard. I'm waiting for a keyboard to arrive, but no mind. We're making do. Okay, so first question I've been asked in that Discord channel is from Laurie Berger, asking how would you start creating the in-game interactive computer interface like the computer screens in the game Prey by Arcane Studios. Okay, so pretty simple really. So, well, I say simple. You've got to first of all make the widget for it. Okay, so do like computer screen. Oh, that space would help. And in our widget here, we're going to set up a simple button system type thing. We'll do a vertical box. And in there, buttons in. Text in it. That. Just trying to make it stand out a bit more here. Okay, and we'll do heading around this bottom here 30. Okay, so if I duplicate that, okay, there we go, we've got some buttons on the screen. Okay, so you design your widget however you want to design. That's the first thing. The next thing is we need to make it part of an asset. So go to blueprint class, create a new actor, and we'll do this one as a computer. And on that you would have the mesh for it. I'm just going to use a cube for now because I don't have a computer screen mesh. Give it a slight angle. That. And then part of that will also be a widget. And this widget is going to be set over here to our computer screen. There it is. We just need to rotate that to and scale it to fit our setup here. change it down to 80 by 80. Oh. Yeah, small. Oh, right, yes. I forgot it does that. Okay. For desired size. And then we'll just scale it down. Whatever it may be. Okay. Once you've got that, the next thing you need is on the player character, you need to have a component called a widget interaction. And this thing is just placed in the world like that. It basically will draw out a line trace basically out and see what it hits. And I think that's all you have to do to it. I can't remember if you do something else to it, but you test that out. My computer in the world here. Hang on, let's just make the buttons here change their style when they're hovered. Better. I know you should be able to see it happening. I hit play now. Should get hovering. What have I missed? I've forgotten something. No. Oh my god. What is it? It's something like this. Hang on. Virtual user index 0, trace channel for visibility, interaction distance 500, interaction source world. Yeah. Oh, let's try from the no, the world location from this thing should be fine. Attached to the camera, innit? Oh wait, no, it's not. Yeah, so you can see it happening there. Like it's flicking them on and off. Just need to aim it a bit better. But there it is. You may want to change it to be center of the screen then, rather than world location. So change it from world to center of screen. And roughly where that crosshair will be highlighting these buttons here. And that's basically it, really. When you hit a certain button, though, you want to be able to, when you hit a certain key on your gamepad or something like that, you want to tell this widget interaction to, like, do a hit event, basically. So you do, called. Oh, damn, what was it called? Called. This one. No. I have to look it up. I can't remember. Oh no, it is. It is what I had. So yeah, it is the widget interaction, and then do press key. And you just choose what like the button is to interact with it. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. So that will let you interact with the buttons on the screen. So for example, if I were to push, so if I were to shoot it, okay, on here, if I want to do it, if I search for interaction, there's like is over focusable widget, and that'll go into a branch. If it's false, it will just fire a bullet like normal. But if it's true, you want to simulate the press key event or left mouse button. And I think that'll do it. So I can't shoot it. Well, no, if I'm between it, I can. But if I hovering over a button, it won't work. Let's just hook up one of these buttons to do something. So this top one here, we'll set that to do on the on-clicked print string. Okay, and then okay. What was it? I've got in a video. If you look up the keypad video, you'll see I've done it in that. I can't remember what I've done though. But yeah, there you go. Moving on. So before we go back to the Discord channel to answer someone else's one, let's go into chat and see how many people we've got. Colin Cray. Hi Ryan and community, can you tell me how I should program an expandable weapon system with many assault rifles that differ in mesh and ammo? Thanks. So you've got a couple of things you could do there. The first thing is if your guns are fixed, so you say you've got like 12 guns in your game, that's what we call a fixed system. So you don't have random generation on it, you don't have any sort of variance on it, they are the fixed system. And these are games like Halo, Call of Duty. And those guns are going to be sharing a parent type, and that parent type will have the mesh, have the ammo class on it, and they are variables inside of it which can be changed on the children. The children are the individual weapons. So yeah, and that's it really. If you're doing a more variable one, so a more dynamic weapon system like your Destiny and Borderlands, where things are more dynamic, it changes a little bit in that you have to do some sort of random generations type stuff. A little bit more complicated. But generally they are following the same sort of rules. All guns can shoot, reload, and whatnot. In Borderlands, for example, they use different manufacturers to give different properties to different guns. And in Destiny, they use weapon types. So you have handguns, they perform differently. They have assault rifles, and so on and so forth. But that's roughly how you go about doing that. Wizard at Play. How can you set a variable inside a macro library that belongs to the class you're passing through? You're using a macro library of type class that matches up the class I'm dragging the macro into. No, you're not using Blueprint interface. Okay, so let's show what they mean by that. Let's say I'm going to do a macro library for first person characters, so I'll have access to these variables. Okay, so finger index, so we'll use that one. If I make a macro library, I'll make sure I choose, oh, wrong one. Prince library. Oh yeah, no, it is the right one. And then I'm going to choose my first person character class. Is there. And in here, you should just be able to right click and get those variables. So I can get finger index there and so forth. I can also set it there too. So if you're not seeing the variables that you need to set based on the class, make sure you have the class correct first of all. If it is a parent class, then they're not going to show. You have to make sure they're the exact correct class, or at least a child of it. Yeah. Oh, so sorry. And that's how you just set a variable, and that would be like that. With the macro, it is as if that code is inside that slot. It's substituted in for that macro, so it's kind of like how that works. Thanks, Patrick. There you go. Find another question. So, Unit Jinx, Ryan, the question. So, if you're building in a game, an FPS, but with flying and or swimming vehicles, what type of component will we use to set up the basic movement input for that vehicle? Good question. So, if you're doing a flying vehicle, you're probably best off making it yourself. So, making your own movement components. So, you're not restricted to a character. You can make pawns. Like this. If they're flying, the best thing that you could use is you could use the not flying, but floating pawn movement. That's set up to handle stuff like that. It's like a flying pawn basically. Doesn't give as many options, but it's a good starting point. Alternatively, you could make your own. It's a little bit more intense, but you can definitely just do that as well. Oh yeah, flying pawn movement should be fine for like a flying of it vehicle. Okay, so before I go back to any more questions on the Discord, let's jump back into the chat. Let's jump back into the Discord and see what other questions we've got in there. The next question is from Unbelievable. Ryan, could you create a particle system where a third-person character pukes out onto the ground, including where it creates a puddle below the character's feet? Thank you for your time. Do you want the puddle to stay there? That's the question. So this is quite a system to make, but I'll show you a basic example. I won't do all the artwork, but you can probably suss it once we get into it. So in here, we need to make an emitter for the puke. We'll do a fountain. I'll just use the default fountain. There you go. This thing, does it have collision on it? No, we've got gravity force, drag. No, so on particle update here, we search for collision. There. Okay, and fix that issue. That's a collision. So that means they'll bounce off things. So if I were to drag this into the world, you'll see these particles just bounce off the floor. Okay, which is what we want. Then we want to make it generate a collision event. So we go to particle update again and do type in collision. You'll see generate collision event. What's the issue with that? Oh yeah, if you use a collision event or any kind of event, you need to have persistent IDs. You do that in the emitter properties, I think it was. Yeah, so it requires persistent IDs. Just tick that on. That should clear those errors. Then on the particle update here, this is going to generate a collision event. So what we're going to do now is make another emitter. We'll just make a blank one. Okay, and this thing we're going to spawn in a burst, actually. Burst. Let me just burst one. Okay, there you go. We'll have to align it to the floor, but right now that doesn't really matter. The main thing is I want this to only spawn when these collide. So for that, we need to link this to this. Now, if I go to add event handler and click on this, then down here, I then click on event source and choose the collision event, which is this one here. And then execution mode is going to be spawned particles. And spawn number will be 1. And what am I forgetting? Oh wait, no. Max events per frame. Up a little bit higher. So I don't know if that's what I can't. No, it's not working. What am I missing? Need to make it wide. Something like that. It's just spawning them on them. Position. I think you turn off. Yeah, you don't want to spawn burst. And we want to position here. Station. No. Hold on. Position, there you go. You want to direct set, and we want to set that to and what is it? Particles position. Yeah, this one. I think it's that. Do this again. You basically get the meter fountain event collision. Event is spawning here. Spawning, but they're spawning in the wrong space. Need to get this out of it. Vision. Hang on. Oh, wait, maybe it's one of these ones. I can't remember this. Right to their position. I don't remember doing it on this. It was more on here. Can't remember. Can't remember everything. Do right. Okay. You have to send over the location event. And send ish. Yeah, so must handle it over. So handle location event, spawn particles, 20. Properties. Oh. Yep. Click on this. Steve. Ah, there we go. Right. Yep. Okay. Hang on. Right. Give it a location event. Don't want that. It's that. So on here. To location and receive. No. Collision. Receive collision event. There we go. It spawned them where they land, and you can tell them how many they're going to spawn. So 50 maximum is there. Yeah. So on here, if we put that in the world, you can see where they spawn on the floor. Obviously, they got that glow on them. We don't want glow on them. It's just what the color's doing. Gal color. I don't know what the color's doing, but yeah, there we go. So it's doing work there. It's landing on the floor, and so forth. So to make it like leave a puddle, because you just want to turn these around the other way, so they point up. So to do that, we'll just go to on collision event. We want to send over there. Collision rotation, collision normal. So receive event. Use that in there. If not, we'll make it back. Change this bright render actually. Custom facing vector. Yeah, that's what you want. Well, that's the starting point of it. You can go from there, really. Kind of what it does. Okay. Yeah, just make them rotate so they lay flat. Puddle. So that's one way of doing it. Leave a puddle behind you. That was annoying. Okay. So we'll come back to Discord. We've got one more in there. Let's go back into the chat here. I see we've got a few more familiar places to get set up. So Wizard at Play, referring back to the macro library thing. Okay, so if you're using this macro library on the... Okay, let's say, for example, our inputs here, you have a macro for the finger index. Hang on. E-touch index, there you go. E-touch index. And we're setting that into there, there. Yeah, okay. So something simple like that. Then on a player character here, if I bring that macro into... well, I don't... you're not bringing a macro into here because macro libraries, you don't have to call that because they exist already. You just do... do macro 0. No, what am I missing? I'm blind. Well, best macro. We just type it up. Been a long time since I've done. Best. What have I forgotten? Hang on. Wait, I just typed it in last time. Yeah, you just type it in, yeah. Yeah. Why can't I just drag that in? I'd be first person character. First person character. What? Uh... Private anything? work. Oh, it does this now and then. For some reason, on this new PC, the graphics renderer likes to just do this on bloody Unreal. I don't know why it does it, but I don't know if it's a thing with 3080s. Save it and close it and bring it up again. Been a right pain today, that. Anyone got an experience with 3080s and having that same issue? Alright, let's try and add that macro again. So, test. What? It should just appear there, and it should just be a macro. Like, if it's out of that class, it should be fine. Yeah, there. Is this a problem with 427? I swear this is something that just works. Looks if it's a known issue. Yeah, but the macro library is of this one, so it should work in this one. I mean, I'll try changing it to thing, but it should work in that because that is of that type. Needless to say, like even if I didn't have that type here, if I untick this, it should still show. Doesn't. Okay. Messed up. No, that's not right, Wizard. So, because yes, okay. So the parent class for this is first-person character. Therefore, it's a child of this, so it should have access to the same sort of thing. So we should be able to just call it just fine. Otherwise, otherwise it would be kind of pointless because you won't be able to call this feature here. I mean, I'll change it back to the other thing if you want, but that's not how it should work if that is the case. Yeah. So you lose finger index because it doesn't exist in that thing. That's the problem. Oh, but now that's showing. Oh, yeah. So yes, you do have to have this as. But yes, this does have to be of the first-person character. God. On my night. Okay. And the reason why it won't show up in here, yes, is because it's a child of first-person character already, and this is the parent, so it won't be able to see the child of it. So you do need to make make a child of this again, and then you should be able to find test macro. Oh, if I got it correctly. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was doing wrong. Yeah, and then you just set like that as normal, and that will actually set it on as long as you call that set here. So that set finger index, that happens here. That's going to set it for the one that is currently being called on. So that is, imagine you're swapping this code out for this code. That's it. So you don't have to do anything special to get it set it. It will just change it automatically. So that's changing this finger index here is changing this one on here. Class defaults. This finger index here. But yeah, there you go. That's what I was doing wrong. Got to make it a child. Juggernaut X, Ryan, I got a question. Will you release a video about the damage type stunning the enemy or slowing their movement like with the damage type fire? Yes, eventually one day, yes. We'll get round to doing something like that. Ahmed, hey, do you remember the best source of learning you benefited from when learning Unreal Engine, especially the math stuff? I'm all self-taught. I came from programming background and learning other engines, so it wasn't too bad. I got in it, like the math stuff, especially. I like maths, so it wasn't too bad for me. But I'm entirely self-taught. Yeah. Apo86, how would you go about adding attachments to weapons that work like sniper scopes, extended clips, etc.? There are sockets, so they're little meshes on sockets, and you just detect when there's one attached. So if you do a zoom in, you do a zoom in with a sniper rifle type zoom. Program Elite. Hi Ryan, a quick question. What would be a good approach to download a level dynamically after you ship the game, like a store for levels? So there's two things to think about here. So you got levels and such, like for, let's say, Call of Duty. Okay, so if you've got levels in Call of Duty and you want player to purchase them from a store, the way that works actually is you've already got the map on your disc. It's there. You don't update or anything. And when you want to send the levels to other people, sorry, back up a bit. So you already have the levels on your disc. That's already installed for you. When you go to the shop and purchase these levels, they simply just unlock them from the menu list. That's all. If you are talking about levels that then later on get added into the game, you want to sell them on, they usually would patch that into the game, and they'll just patch it in to the actual game files itself. So you have access to all the levels when you play the game. It's just they're locked off behind paywalls. So there's something like that. Now, if you're talking about level store, sort of like people can create their own levels and upload them and then download them. The way that works, essentially, it's a save file, and you're saving the location and transform data for every single thing in that level, and you're sending over the save file information. As for saving and loading that, on like a database type thing, it would be a database. You probably need some sort of custom way of transferring it all to like a string. Sorry, I'm so tired. To have some sort of like custom code to transfer it to a string, something readable by a database, because they can't read the same Unreal assets. So yeah, that's the only way they could do that. But essentially, they're just storing the location and transforms of each piece. Paradox, will you continue doing the RTS series? Yeah, it's gonna be finished. Yeah. We're up to episode 20 in YouTube, and 23 is coming out soon for Patreon people. Patreon videos are a bit delayed because of this new computer setup. I'm having to set it all up and get it ready, so things are a little bit delayed. But you should get all the videos that are due at the end of the week. Vlad, hi Ryan. Sorry to ask. Last time I asked you if you could explain the banjo climbing tree by magnets and popping up the top. Could be a pain, and ask if you could show, as I couldn't get my head around it. Probably I can't do it right now because I don't have a third-person character. But what we'll do is in the next question time, I'll have I'll make a third-person character one, like easy enough for me to show it in that case. Yeah. How can you make AI fight AI? It's the same way you get them to fight you. You have to know what they do to tick them off. They give them a target actor. You need to know, you have to just feed them which target actor they're going to be attacking. So when you've got like an AI class in your AI controller, normally if you followed my tutorials about the player stuff, we'd do something like this, where you have AI perception. And you'd have something like this, where you're doing equal to player character. I might get some new keyboards. This one is. You're probably used to something like this at the start. Well, in this case, you wouldn't have that. You'd have a test to see if this actor has a certain tag or is of a certain class, and that'd be them attacking them. And then it goes on like normal. So it sends them as a target actor, and if they go chasing them. Oh dear, so sorry. Late night last night. Laurie Berger. I'm using UE4 Water Ocean. How can I stop water showing through the bottom of my boat mesh? Yeah. I can't show it right now because it's a lot of work. But so the way it works is in your boat you have a plane that has the shape of the boat bottom, and that plane is set to render in custom depth only, not render in the main depth at all. So to your eyes it looks invisible, but the game still renders it in the custom depth channel. And what you do is you use it like a mask to mask out the water. The boat then will be rendered on top of that further. So there'll be another stencil for the boat, and the boat will be rendered on top of that. So you have the water being rendered, then you cut out the hole for the boat surface, and then you layer the boat on top of that. And then you get the final composite. There's a great article. I need to find it and I'll link it somewhere. Sort of someone dissecting it and coming up with an idea of how it's done, and that is the way you do it. And they've got some good diagrams how it works. But I'll have to need to make a video on it at some point. But obviously it takes a while to set up. Can't do it right now. I've only got a few minutes left. How do you make this is from Mangula. How do you make a guard behavior from a stealth AI to trigger at night but not day? Well, when it turns to nighttime, you just tell them to run a different behavior tree. Yeah, that's literally it. You just tell them to run a different behavior tree at certain points, wherever those points may be. Aki Doka. How can I set up AI to do an attack based on distance? For example, if the player is at melee range, it attack with melee. If the player is too far, it will attack with range. So first of all, what determines them attacking them? If they can do both, usually we say if you're in range, do an attack. But if they can do both, at what point do they decide when to attack? And this could be a time limit, whatever it may be. You then will check the distance between him and the target, and if that distance is within a certain threshold, it'll be a melee attack. outside that threshold, it'll be a ranged attack. So, and we're going to go back to the Discord channel from another Patreon member. Robert Garcia is asking, on the EQS system, is there a way to make one EQS query feed the best, say, 5 results across several AI? The use case here would be to prevent several AI from querying the same environment and decide to go for the same spot when selecting moving destinations. Yes, fortunately, it's very simple. So if we made a behavior tree and we do, let's do a sequence, and do S. You'd have something like this. On the EQS query, on the right hand side, when you go to EQS request and set your EQS here, you've got run mode. By default, it sets the single best item, but you can actually change this to say random item from best 5%, or single random item from best 25%, or all matching points. So just pick one from any of the matching ones. So I usually give it the one from best 5%. So it's not going to be a single point, it'll be a number of them, and therefore all your AI are going to pick slightly different points and locations. So yeah, that's what I do. That. And there you go, Robert Garcia. Racing is fun. Is Niagara or the Cascade particle effect more efficient for mobile? Not entirely sure. I mean, Niagara is really powerful and really optimized, but I don't know. I've never tested it under stress to see what it's like versus mobile. So I can't provide a good answer for that one, I'm afraid. I can't imagine it being much different because they're both doing the same sort of thing. Just you get more options with Niagara. Paradox, are particles expensive than complicated materials as performance? Are particles, I guess, more expensive than complicated materials as for can't talk, for performance? Blah. Depends what you mean by complicated. Particles can add expense to it, but particles are... You have to remember that particles are designed in the engine to support seeing thousands of them all at once, doing sorts of things. So they are optimized for that. They're also very, very small, so they don't have to be super high res or use high res textures and things like that. Whereas materials tend to have to use high res textures and swap them in with different draw calls and things like that. So they can get quite expensive performance wise. But yeah, think about particles. Particles are usually quite small, so the resolution of it doesn't really matter. Okay, and the last question we're going to answer is going to be from Ibrahim. He's asking, hi everybody, my character looks so strange. His arms look like in A pose. How can I change the basic pose of a character? I mean, like, for example, he should not hold up his hand all the time through all animations, no matter idle or walk or run. So he's holding up his hand like that the whole entire time, right? Okay, but if you want to blend any sort of animation together, so I don't have a character I can show. I'll have to walk you through the basics, but I don't have a character I can show you, unfortunately. I've got a first person one. So you do layered blend per bone, and for base pose we'll leave for base pose would be like walking, for example. Oh, hang on. Run. There you go. And that'll go into there. Okay, so base pose, they'll like they're running on the spot. Okay. Now, if I want him to blend with his arm out, okay, the layered blend per bone, I'm going to go to layer setup. and I'm going to blend it at a certain bone. And I'm going to choose the clavicle, if I can spell it correctly. L. And hit file. And you can see now, if I don't plug anything into blend pose, it's going to just do his A pose for it. From the left shoulder down. So whatever bone you put in here, it's going to do everything connected to it down the chain. Not up the chain, but down the chain. Therefore, blending two animations together, we've got an idle and, a run, and then nothing being blended. So that we get the A pose. If you do have a pose for him having his hand out, you can just plug that into there, and then he'll have his hand out the whole entire time. But yeah, there you go. Excellent. Well, in that case, we are done. Well, there's a fun question. Let's answer that one, actually. Laurie Berger's asking, what does a second-person view look like? So, you may be familiar with first person and third person, but what does second person refer to? Well, in narrative terms, a second person is the story told... so first person story is told from your perspective. So, it's from, like, the I perspective. The third person perspective is describing by name, so it's not connective like that. The second person perspective is when you're reading the story in terms of a bystander, like someone who's there with them, describing what's going on around them, based on not describe like basically like a narrator. They're narrating what they see. It's a very weird one to have. If that wasn't a game, I would imagine it's something like almost like VR style, where you are looking down in the world as this person, as this entity, and the world around you reacting to you, but mostly they're doing their own thing. That's what I would imagine it'd be like. But it's hard. It's more of a narrative thing than a gameplay thing. But that's what it kind of. Okay, so we are going to end it there. But we are doing this every Wednesday at live same time. So if you do have any more questions, do come along next week where we have live stream again. The archive for this one will be available to everyone in a couple of weeks' time. Meanwhile, Patreon members will enjoy it straight away after the live stream tomorrow. So I want to say a massive thank you to all my Patreon members, YouTube members, and everyone who's supporting me. Say the channel is in a good place. We've just finished 4 years of it. We're now going into the next however many years, and we've got tons of plans and tons of things to look forward to. Some things I can't announce yet, but we'll be announcing in the new year. One thing to announce is that we have chosen a winner for the Guardians of the Galaxy giveaway. I will announce the winner on the channel via a community post, so look out for the name there. But I have already contacted the person, so well done to that person for winning, and I'll make the official announcement. But onto news. There'll be a giveaway every month. So every month I'm going to do a giveaway, and this could be a game, it could be some software, it could be some assets, be even hardware maybe not so much hardware because of delivery and postage fees, but definitely software and all that will be definitely up there. So at the end of every month we'll do a giveaway. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and follow the instructions to the giveaway. That could be answering a question, could be commenting on something, answering a poll, whatever it may be. You just do that, and yeah, we're going to do giveaways every month and see how we get on with that. And if you remember last year, Christmas, we've done a big giveaway of cash prizes, and you can look forward to something similar this year too for Christmas. More news about Christmas plans going forwards later. So thank you very much for everyone for joining us tonight, and I'm off to bed. I'm going to catch you all later. Have a good week, and I'll see you on Saturday's live stream. We're going to do some Zelda stuff. So catch us on Saturday for the Zelda stuff. Good night, everyone. Have fun. See you later. Bye bye.